Hey, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today to talk about the new moon on January 11th, 2024. A new moon is where the moon and the sun come together in conjunction to create new life. The moon represents the feminine, the sun represents the masculine, and this new moon is at 20 degrees of Capricorn. This is the third in a series of 5 new moons that started in the Scorpio season at the 20th degree. And I think this is significant because the 20th degree is the scorpionic degree of transformation, of death and rebirth. It is a time when we go into our deepest psychological imprint and extract wisdom. This is the opportunity that I believe is being presented to us. So this new moon is also the beginning of a 6-month cycle that will end in July when we have a full moon in Capricorn, and the moon cycle will then revert back to a new moon in the first half of the month and a full moon at the end of the month. We've been experiencing the opposite, where the moon cycles had reversed. So this has really been sort of an opportunity for us to take a step back and look into our lives and extract wisdom from the disruptions to hone our skills of creation. And I think that this is really powerful because you'll see here that this new moon is making a square to the nodes. Technically, it's a T-square because the nodes always are in opposition. So here we are in the sign that rules limitation, restriction, authority, government, fears, depression. It also rules building and agriculture and wealth in many ways, ambition, drive. So as we plant the seeds in our own lives to build a new version of our happiness, we could feel a sense of tension between that South Node in Libra, where we are expected to, create harmony and peace and cooperation. The South Node is a familiar point for the soul, a point of habit, a point of consistent behavior. And it gives us an opportunity here with this exact T-square to really look deeper into the cooperative components I'm creating. Are they out of fear? Are they out of feeling disempowered? Because oftentimes that Scorpio energy, while it rules power and control, it can have the flip effect of feeling powerless to the control that is being exerted upon them. And with the Capricorn energy of government, there can be this feeling of I'm not supposed to, and whatever your story is. But at the same time, the North Node here in Aries is just ravenous to experience its individuality, to express itself, and to build something beyond what it believes it has been able to create up until now. So as we've walked through these new moons, planting the seeds in the dark of night to be nurtured and to be tended to, and to be in some ways guarded, but I don't mean that in a protective way. I mean it in a way of allowing your manifestation to get roots before it starts to try to take on a storm or take on some challenge. So here back in November of 2023, we had the Scorpionic new moon, then we had the Sagittarius new moon, now we have this Capricorn new moon. So we're going to see the Scorpio new moon offered us an opportunity to really look where power and control stokes our fears and disempowers us. Sagittarius new moon gave us an opportunity to plant seeds for new beliefs, new ideologies, new businesses, new ways of branding myself, new ways of putting myself out in the public eye. It also will bring in a sense of justice, a sense of karmic balance with that Sagittarius energy. But again, we're just planting the seeds. The manifestation is still yet to be. So as we come into this Capricorn new moon on the 11th of January, which I think is rather interesting because the ones are always signifying to me, what am I thinking? How am I thinking? Am I focused on fear? Am I focused on worry? Am I projecting out into the future something I don't want? Or am I standing in alignment with what I do want and trusting a little bit of the universe in those moments of unknowing? Because I think this is very powerful, because we also have this new moon making a trine to Uranus. And we know we're coming up on that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in April. So this trine is supporting a new way of thinking, a new way of building. We also see, while Uranus is retrograde, it's at the Libra degree. So that kind of plays back to the idea of the South Node being in Libra, saying to me, where have I habitually given up my power and been overly cooperative to something that a structure that was really not truly strong, but maybe built on a house of sand or a house of, I hate to say, well, I'm just going to say it. There's a culture throughout the world where money speaks and character does not. And I think here we're going to start to see the individual looking for recognition for how they show up. Aries is the hero. And oftentimes when, Aries has to go to war, it is not just to create havoc, but to bring balance to a situation. So I think that this new moon is really offering us an opportunity to look at the structures we've built, to assess where we've given up our power and control, where we want to individualize ourselves, and then allow ourselves the privilege of new thoughts, new ways of thinking, renovating ourselves. Uranus rules space, it rules technology, it rules the future. So this is an opportunity to look to the future in a way that's coming from your emotional body, the moon and the sun coming together. Technically, this is called a new moon. So I think this is a super powerful time. I also want to comment that during this new moon, we have Mercury has come out of its retrograde. It's now heading towards Capricorn energy, but it's sitting on the supergalactic, the galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. And I think that's important because this is an opportunity to sort of anchor into those divine inspirations. The galactic center is a point where we can download information, we can receive inspirations, we can suddenly solutions appear that weren't there before. We also see that Venus, who rules money and our self-worth, and our beauty and our sense of comfort and food, she is 1 degree away from the great attractor. And the great attractor is what it says it is. I'm drawing things to me through my focus, through my mind, through my philosophies and my ideologies, how I project myself out into the world. If you think about the idea of Sagittarius ruling publishing, that is essentially a birthing of myself in some way out in the world. It could be in a book, it could be on the internet, it could be so many different ways now. So as you're planting the seeds for this new structure, again, Capricorn builds, Capricorn creates, Capricorn is seen out in the public eye. It wants, to build where others can witness their creation. That's super powerful. We also, during this new moon, will see that Saturn is here at 4 degrees of Pisces. And this is kind of interesting to me because Saturn rules the new moon, technically, from my point of view, because it's a Capricorn new moon. And we see here that Saturn is making a sextile to Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter's stationed at 5 degrees. That's the Leo degree, what's important to my heart. And it's also making a square and a half to the South Node. I think this is a kind of a spot where you're thinking to, or where you could potentially not be aware of some habitual ways of thinking that literally disempower you. Almost one of the, it kind of feels a little bit like the fear of repercussions or the fear of reactions of other people, or the fear of abandonment, or the fear of being ostracized from the partnership, the community, whatever the Libra energy is for you. It would keep you in a holding pattern that wouldn't serve you. But here we see also a sextile to Mars. And Mars in Capricorn, Mars is exalted. Mars is in its highest dignity other than its rulership in Capricorn. So I really believe that this is an opportunity to stretch ourselves, to allow for the 2.0 version of our lives, and to reframe our disruptions or the things that are creating havoc or chaos in our lives as devices for us to express this new awareness that we have, this new power of our own co-creation. I think these new moons are in this series of the 20th degree feels very, very transformational to me, as if I am, a farmer and I'm going row to row and I'm planting new seeds for different parts of my life, or different parts of my personality and what I want. Maybe it's the way I'm thinking and the way I'm speaking. And in that awareness, you'll start to see the universe bring in experiences that will support that awareness, that willingness to surrender to the unknown and sort of realize that I've put an intention, planting seeds in the new moon. And now that intention gets to go out into the universe, and the universe will then give me a sign, an omen, an inspiration as to what the next step is. I think this is really powerful because, again, when we get to July and we're going into the Capricorn full moon, we're going to put the moon course back on track with that new moon at the beginning of the month and the full moon at the end of the month. As we've been experiencing the full moon at the beginning of the month, it has allowed us to have these illuminations and some culminations that when we're planting the seeds, we have a clearer picture due to that full moon. So I think this is, again, super transformational. It is teeing up the second half of the year. I think we're going to see a real the beginning of this year with the conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus growing, and the other dynamics that have been going on with Mercury retrograding over the galactic center. This won't happen again for quite some time. I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 years, maybe again. I don't know. I didn't look it up, but I believe that I'm saying all this because as Pluto moves into Aquarius, we're going to really start to feel the longing for the human to be seen as an individual, to break down old structures of repression, of limitation, of judgment on material goods versus character and integrity. And as we stand in that energy and we start to be aware of that, the universe is going to support us in our endeavors. So I think this is a very powerful new moon. And I want to encourage you all to take just a minute to give yourselves some time maybe to meditate, take advantage of Venus representing our money and our self-worth, and Mercury on these 2 points within the shapely cluster that are very powerful for attracting in the resources, for getting those divine inspirations, and then planting the seeds for their fruition in about 6 months or so. All right, everybody, that's it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching, listening. Please like, please subscribe, please share, please comment, and I'll be back soon with another video. All right, everybody, take care.